What's going on, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video. I'll be reacting to three disturbing true hitchhiking horror stories featuring nightmarish tales. I think this is from Mr. Nightmare. I think the original is from I think it might be from Nightmare Files. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okay, it's Nightmare Files, never mind. But yeah, hitchhiking story. I've never hitchhiked. Like, there was one time I was walking on the road, but I was on a military base and I had a bunch of stuff. And a guy pulled over and he said, "Hey man, you need a ride," because I had to walk at least 2 miles from the commissary back to my dorm, and that was my first day there. He was like, "You need a ride," and I was like, "Yes." I was carrying so much that I didn't have a car yet. I had just moved there, and that shit. And I was so glad that dude gave me a ride. I never saw that dude ever again. I don't even know. I don't remember what the name was either, but I saw him that one time. Never saw him again. He lived in the dorms. Never saw him again. Because he told me he lived in the dorm. Never saw him again. But that's the only hitchhiking thing. And like, I didn't, do the whole thumb thing. I was just walking because I like refused to hitchhike. I've walked like, I think 20 miles before, and on a busy road, and never tried to hitchhike. I was like, because like, one thing, I could probably get to my destination quicker if I just walk. Just hurry up and walk rather than stopping and doing this unless I'm walking and just hold my thumb out like while I'm walking or something like that. But I was like, I don't need that. And I said, and it'd be just my luck. I had picked up by some psychopath who was like some crazy motherfucker like from the movie The Hitcher. pick me up, like crazy as hell. I'm like, no. So I was like, it's not that far. Now, if I was going cross country and you hitchhiking, that's different. Then you might want to hitchhike. If you talking about you traveling from state to state and you don't have a car, you don't have money to get like a train ride and stuff like that, or you don't want to spend money on a train ride. So you're like, walk and hitchhike and stuff like that. But you gotta be careful doing that shit because some people are crazy and you never know when you gonna get in the car with a crazy person. But anyway, let's just get into this. All right, here we go. Nightmare Files. Damn, the volume go back up on this thing. Shit.
This didn't happen to me. It happened to my girlfriend. At the time, my girlfriend and I were attending college together. It was a smaller school and a pretty quiet place, so most of the students were from the area. My girlfriend, Katie, was from the area. I came from a distance, so I lived in the dorm at the college. Katie and I would hang out together in my dorm between classes, and even some evenings and weekends when we wanted to be together but didn't feel like going out. It was a Friday night, and both of us, being pretty introverted, decided not to do anything crazy, so we planned to spend the night.
That sound like my kind of girl.
She wanted some time to go home after classes and assured me that she'd be back around 8. Katie had a car, but she never liked driving it, unless she had to pack around her instrument, so she just usually took the bus. That Friday night, she had a pretty unnerving experience in doing so, and it freaked both of us out. She was a small girl, definitely didn't look like a college-age student. She was short, thin, and quiet. Standing alone at the bus stop in the dark was probably not ideal, but she preferred taking that over her own car. She waited for the bus stop, But then a van drove past her. Then again, then again, then again.
Some
It
pedophile.
looked like a creeper van, you know,
Like, get in my
those
car,
vans
get in my
that
van,
have
little
no
girl.
windows
She
in them.
like, I'm
She
23,
was a bit
motherfucker.
suspicious, but told herself
Fuck out of
he
here.
was probably just lost or killing time. The van then pulled over right in front of the stop, and the driver rolled down his window very slowly. "Isn't it cold out here?" he asked. "The bus is always late. Hop in, and I'll give you a ride." Katie declined politely and took a few steps back, trying to show him she wasn't interested in anything he wanted. He asked again if she was absolutely sure that she didn't want to ride, and he drove away after she turned him down again. The bus arrived moments later, and she was relieved to step on. But, to her horror, she then noticed the same van right behind the bus.
Oh wow,
She
this
was the
dude is
only one on the bus
persistent.
also. The van followed the bus directly,
I've driven down
and
roads
Katie
like this
texted me to
at
explain the
night.
situation. I could tell that she was panicking, which isn't uncommon for her. I offered to talk to her on the phone to calm her nerves, and she accepted. We talked about school and things to get her mind off of it. Once her stop came, she felt safe enough to hang up the phone and walked a short distance to the college. When she arrived at my room, she was hysterical. It took me over an hour to comfort her enough to get the story out of her. And this is what she told me. The van had stopped following the bus after getting stuck at a red light, giving the bus a chance to get ahead. However, after getting off at her stop, the van sped up to her. He was driving like a maniac at this point, going at least 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. The bus had already pulled away when the van pulled up right next to her. It had pulled over right where she intended to go to get to the college. So in panic, she bolted the other way, and the driver raced
Smart.
after her.
Oh wow.
When she turned her head to look behind her, she noticed he was holding a large butcher knife, waving it in front of him in her direction. She did a wide turn to get back on track to the college,
That
and
escalated
then
quickly.
following close right behind her. Lucky for her, he lost his footing on an icy patch on the road, and his fall delayed him enough for her to get away. When he got back up, he didn't chase after her again, but instead yelled out, "I will find you, and I will kill you." Since then,
The fuck was that, Liam
she's
Neeson?
always taken her own car instead of the bus.
Yeah, she should have been doing it in the first place. Like, I love driving. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take the bus instead of the car. Instead of my own car. Like, no. Unless I live in like in a really busy city, then no.
Okay, so I'll just start this by saying my dad's a character. All of my friends loved him growing up because he could entertain you just by talking to him. This attitude is what initially led me to question the legitimacy of this story for a long time. Now that I'm a bit older, I could tell this one cuts deep every time we make him tell it. Usually, he talks in a very upbeat and active tone. But when my brothers and I first heard him tell this story, or talk about it in general, his tone completely changes. It's as if the color just rushes from his face. It's obvious he doesn't enjoy talking about it. Okay, now to the story. He was about 18 at the time. From pictures, he seemed like an athletic, approachable teen. He was living in the Gary Whiting area of northwest Indiana.
Yeah, I was about to say Gary.
Sometime later in the evening, my dad, who's been a smoker for roughly 50 years of his life, decided to hitchhike to his local convenience store. He has a knack for talking about places or events as if you were there. This was an odd thing to do, considering the shop was only a couple of miles away from his house. Eventually, a truck pulls to the side of the road. It was a baby blue pickup truck, to be exact. Apparently there were two men in the truck, probably both in their 40s or so, pretty normal looking. He said that the driver was a bit burly, sort of looked like Jackie Gleason, and the truck was only a 3-seater, so the man in the
Jackie
passenger
Gleason.
side had to move to the middle. No words spoken, apart from the driver asking where he was going. This didn't strike my father as odd.
I thought he said he was only going a
proceeded to sit
couple
in
miles.
not suspecting anything. Suddenly, out of nowhere, one of the guys randomly burst into laughter. According to my father, this wasn't your ordinary laugh, but something much more diabolical. Surely enough, the driver looks at my father, with what he claimed was the devil's eyes now chiming in with the laughter. As you could suspect, they start to go a different route. My dad knew they weren't heading anywhere near the desired destination. He was trying to play it cool, wait for his chance. Luckily, a couple of minutes later, they finally hit a red light. The driver slowly crept his arm across the cab and starts caressing my dad's neck. I guess fight or flight kicked in, and a surge of adrenaline came about. He unlocked the door and bolts out, not looking back.
That's one thing. Do
He
not
said he hid
touch
near a
my
local
neck.
church and watched as they drove around looking for him. Some years later, my dad was watching the news when the mugshot of a man popped on the screen. His heart sunk. The man was undoubtedly the same who had picked him up hitchhiking. That man was John Wayne Gacy.
What? Who was the dude in the middle seat? As far as I know, John Wayne Gacy didn't have any people helping him.
When I was 17, I didn't have a driver's license. Most of the time I walked or hitchhiked. There was this one night. There weren't that many cars on the road.
Shit, I had a driver's license when I was 15.
And this man pulled over. When the guy pulled over, I took a good look at the guy and figured I could take him if he tried anything. He was on the slender
I
side.
figured I could kick his ass if something go
Even though he looked
down.
healthy enough. I got into the car after we agreed on the destination. We exchanged names and I warmed my fingers up in front of the heating vent. He spoke quietly, asking a few questions along the lines of, was I local and how did I like living there? He said he only been here for a few months, but found it beautiful and hoped he could find happiness there. That comment struck me as a little odd,
Yeah, that's a bit
but I
weird.
brushed it off. It began to snow and the road quickly got slippery. So he slowed and he kept his eyes straight out the windshield, driving silently. I was okay with that, as small talk was never my forte. About 10 minutes later, I noticed the car near the intersection we were approaching seemed to be sliding, so I said, "Watch out." He immediately hit the gas, shooting through the intersection and burst out with, "Don't ever scream at me." Needless to say, I was taken aback. I said, "Look, this is close enough. Just pull over here and I can get there." He didn't seem to hear me. So I said, "Richard, did you hear me?" I said, "You can pull over here and let me out." But no
I'd have been
response.
like, Richard,
He just stared straight ahead.
Did you
driving
hear me?
Faster now than he did when it started snowing. To say I was scared doesn't seem to cover the depth of the fear that began to rise in me. I didn't know if I should stay quiet or speak, but I was damn sure not going to
I would
yell
have
after
started.
his outburst.
I would have started wailing on this
After
guy.
about a mile, he began to mumble under his breath. I couldn't quite make out what he was saying,
He sounded to do
but I
schizophrenic.
assumed he was speaking to me. So I said, "What did you say? I couldn't hear you." He began to speak quietly and rapidly, saying things like, "You're always yelling at me. I've told you time and time again, do not yell at me. I don't appreciate it. No, you don't listen, you don't listen." And I was just sitting there looking at him. I was at a complete loss. I didn't know what to say in response or if I should say anything at all. I contemplated just jumping out of the car, but nixed that idea when I realized the door lock was missing.
Oh, wow.
There was just a silver-lined hole where it should have been. I started to cry and debate with myself about causing an accident by grabbing the wheel and hoping for the best.
You
When
just
he
buckle your
suddenly looked
seatbelt
at me for
and
the
then
first
grab
time
that
since
wheel
I had gotten in the
and
car.
yank it.
He blinked several times, rapidly, then slowed the car, pulling into a gas station. I waited to see if he unlocked the doors, not wanting to say anything to set him off again. After a minute or two, he quietly said, "I think I better let you out of here." And he hit the button to the door locks, and he opened the door. I wasn't about to hesitate, so I jumped out of the car as if I were on fire. I was about to turn and walk into the gas station when he called my name. He looked so damn sad and I hesitated. He apologized, said he was sorry if he had frightened me, that he never
I'm
would have harmed
sorry
me,
that I'm a crazy motherfucker.
and
I'm
he
so
asked
sorry.
if I'd be able to get home okay. I said I would and closed the door. He began to pull out of the gas station, but stopped suddenly. He just sat there for a couple of moments, his head down. I froze, wondering what the hell was up, and was about to run into the gas station. But he opened his window and yelled at me, waving something in his hand, my hat. I left it on his seat. I slowly approached the side of his car, and he handed it to me, apologizing again. I didn't know what else to say, so I just said, thanks. I watched as he drove off, making sure he was out of sight before moving on so he wouldn't know which direction I was heading. As I walked, I went to put my hat back on, and a piece of paper fell out of it. Folded into a paper was $100 bill. The paper said, "I'm sorry. Please take a cab and don't hitchhike anymore tonight."
I
I
was
didn't.
I was going to
In
kill
fact,
you.
it was the last time I ever hitchhiked in my life. Will never, ever do that again.
And then I was watching the news the next day, and I saw a mugshot of the guy, and it was Ed Gein. I don't know what time period this will take place in. Oh man.
Nightmare Files.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. You gotta be careful. You have to have a weapon with you. You have a knife, a retractable baton, a gun, like something. You get in the car with a complete stranger. Because you never know. Like, see, this last person got some type of mental problem. And luckily, he came back and was able to, like, all right, I need to stop. I need to calm down. Let this person out. Because my brain is telling me to skin them. So, and I don't want to do that. So I need to let them out. And here's $100. Sorry for the inconvenience. You going about your business. Don't hitchhike anymore because you might get picked up by somebody even worse than me. That's what you gotta be. You gotta be careful. And some of these, because I might be getting. I just watched another story. Am I getting some of these mixed up? Because wasn't it one? Yeah, because it was a college one. Because like she didn't even hitchhike. She took the bus, and some random dude. Well, I guess the dude tried to pick her up. It's like, oh, the bus is always late once you get in the car with me. Why don't you fuck off? Like, that is the craziest thing ever. Some random person he just comes to you and say, hey, why don't you get on in the car with me? I can take you where you need to go. Like, does that actually work? Or are you just trying it out to see what works? Because who in their right mind would get in a car with a complete stranger just randomly pull it? You're not even, and that's like that story with that girl's in college going to see her boyfriend in dorms. She wasn't even hitchhiking. She was at the bus stop waiting for the bus, and this motherfucker pulls up talking about, oh, the bus is always late. Why don't you get in? I'll tell you where you need to go. Like, so that might work on someone who's actually hitchhiking. Like they get their thumbs out on a highway and you driving. That's what. And then you also, on the flip side, you also have to be careful when you picking up people, because you might pick up of course, just like in the movie Hitcher, when he picked up that crazy motherfucker, Rucker Hauer, that was his name. He picked up this crazy motherfucker, and this dude, he didn't know that this dude went by slasher rules, where he could just teleport wherever the hell he needed to be, and he was just there. I was like, this, and then I forget the character's name. That wasn't the character, but the actor's name, the main actor in that movie. He did like a movie with blackface too. I think that sank his career back in like the 80s. But what he did blackface to get a scholarship that was meant for like African Americans. But anyway, in that movie, he was doing the dumb stuff. I was thinking about doing a reaction to that movie, but he was doing the reaction and review to it. But he was. How long has it been? About 5 or 6 years since I've seen that movie. But I saw it when I was a kid though, but for the first time, and he was doing so much stupid shit. He was classic slasher villain. I mean, slasher protagonist, like type that he was doing stupid shit, and I was like, dude, stop being a fucking idiot. Just drive. Just go. Don't stop. Only stop to get gas and then keep going. Like, he kept stopping at places. Like, I was like, and then like I said, Rutger Hauer's going by slasher villain rules and shit. He like wiped out a whole police precinct and escaped and shit. I'm like, but anyway, hope you all enjoyed my reaction. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified when I upload the videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see you next time. Peace.